Let's do it. What's
I'm
happening?
waiting to see until it changes. Okay, I think we're live. Actually, I have no idea. It's the
All
first
right, if
time.
people can see us, at least give us some kind of thumbs up or whatever.
Yeah, if you can hear us and if it's all clear and it's working. Oh, Stacy's there. Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get a
Yeah, thumbs up if you're here.
Nick?
If
Is it
you're
all
here
fine?
and
Is it all
see,
working?
thumbs
Because we
up.
have no idea.
Nope, nobody wants the thumbs up.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't have. They have like weird emoticons, which I don't know what that means. Can you like do something that old people understand?
Like I can hear you and see you. Watch, nobody can hear us.
Okay, Stacy
Yeah,
says working great.
working.
That's the only thing we need. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, we're assuming it works great. Okay. Well, hello everyone. This is a new thing we're trying out. So it's going to be a regular episode, episode 59. We're trying out this live thing. Now the thumbs are coming. Great. And it's going to be a bit of an experiment. This is the first time we're doing this live, and we're expecting it to be a big mess. So please forgive us if this is a bit all over the place. But we'll try our best. We'll try our best. We're gonna just chat a little bit about a certain topic, and if you have any questions, I think you can write them in the chat. But no guarantee that either of us is gonna pay any attention to that as we're figuring this out. So let's see how it goes. So
Yeah.
I know it's been a while. It's been a long while since we did the last episode, even though we said, hey, now we're back and we're doing something again, and then suddenly we disappear, which of course is not ideal. Everybody's like, where are you? Are you alive? Are you dead? Whatever. We're all good. I think we've just been very busy with work, with life, vacation, and sick again, and totally flooded with work. I think trying out new things, trying out different things. And but here we are, and we really wanted to make it work again. So we'll try out this way. How have you been?
Yeah, no, I've been good. Just hanging in there and just
Hanging in
the
there.
usual, really. I mean, it's just the kind of, just working, but I know that we wanted to at least have a topic for this week. And I think for me, a lot of this, stuff that's going around right now is this whole AI debate. And I think it's appropriate because I think we're actually stumbling across something that's changing the landscape of a lot of how, what we do, what will we do in the future, all that. So I think it's appropriate to talk about it and also to point people to places that, they can get some more information if they want to. But I think I just wanted to know your thoughts because the truth of it is we all know what AI art is. We all have seen it in, all the social media. You can't avoid it. If you're on social media at all, it's there. And I think it's be interesting to, just kind of, we don't need to dissect the basics of it. We already talked about that in a previous episode, but I kind of want to see whether you're, how are you feeling with the latest things that have been happening? Has your mind changed at all? How do you see it?
I don't know. I mean, we've done
I
we've done
don't know.
actually several episodes already on it, right? But
Two,
it
I think,
feels
yeah.
like two, and I think one of the recent ones was also about it. But I feel like every time we talk about it, the landscape has completely changed, and
Yeah.
also the quality of the images that these machines like spit out are becoming better and better up to the point where it's like indistinguishable from other art or photographs or anything. Because I mean, as much as of course concept artists, illustrators, anybody who works with digital images is affected. Any kind of creator, digital creator. Everything else visual, I think, is also affected. Photographers, like image recognition tech, deep fakes, like it's going into video, right? 3D,
Music,
music as well, right? And so not only visual.
even writing.
Yeah. So it's like, like AI written like screenplays probably, right? Or lyrics and stuff like that. So it's like everybody to a certain degree is affected. And of course, but we can't talk about everything, right? So we are very focused on, again, the commercial art, concept art, illustration kind of area, and we'll talk mostly about, I think, how it affects jobs and mostly how it affects us. I think you made a good pointer for some recent discussions. The Concept Art Association had a town hall with lots of legal experts that was talking a lot about, again, the legal ramifications in way more detail than we ever can dream to cover. And we'll point you in a link below to that discussion. It's a very, very interesting talk. But again, we don't want to talk too much about the legal stuff, right? It's more about how it affects us. And, well, to your question, how do I feel about it? It's I just look at it with a certain amount of amusement. I mean, there was a time, and I mean, I say there was a time as if there was like a couple of years ago, but it was actually just a couple of weeks ago, where my news feeds for all the social medias, especially like Facebook and Twitter, was just flooded with AI art, where everybody was trying it out, whether they were already an artist or kind of now calling themselves an AI artist, whatever the hell that means. But like, so it's like, I was looking at it as more as a fad. I didn't take it that seriously. Maybe it's bad, right? Maybe I shouldn't have maybe I should take it more seriously. I don't know. But now it's kind of died down. I think the initial excitement is already over. But of course, like you can see people using it in all sorts of different ways. I find it personally very useful for kind of reference. The thing is, though, I don't use it. I made an account and I never touched it again. I have never done anything with it, and I don't feel the need to. I mean, it's pretty cool. Maybe I'm missing out. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally missing out. But I'm an old fart. I don't feel particularly threatened by it at this point. I don't feel like this is going to take my job away, but then again, like, what about like younger artists? People are starting out. People are trying to break into the industry. People who are studying right now. That's a whole different topic, right? And they probably feel like, why should I try to do all of this if I can just kind of mix and match some of my favorite artists, and instead of mixing and matching them in my brain and then coming up with my own creations, why can't I let the AI do that for me? It's faster. I can hand in my assignment and then I can go play video games. I think that's a very I mean, it's simplified maybe, but I think there's at least when it comes to commercial art, there's something very appealing about that, or like weird. I mean, for personal art, let's not even talk about personal stuff, because I think for personal art creation, there is no space, there's no place for AI, because you're doing yourself a huge disservice by using AI like a machine to do the creative thinking for you. Like, there's no point. Like, creating art is a journey. Creating art is something very personal, and is very much a part of you and your journey in life, and an expression of that journey and your thoughts and your feelings and emotions. So AI should not have any part in that at all. So I think what our discussion is really about the commercial art production and what effect AI can have on that. I mean, I know you're like a big proponent of digging deep to produce art and putting a lot of yourself in there. especially for personal projects and stuff like that. But so, I mean, are you affected by AI, like professionally, in terms of like seeing it somewhere, other artists handing AI work in? How do you feel about it? I don't know.
I mean, I'll just say that it's happening. Yeah. I mean, I've already seen it in multiple projects and, it's already rearing its head. Like people are saying, hey, look at this we've created. And, how about this kind of vibe? And it's, obviously some kind of mid-journey uh, AI created thing. And I think that, um, you know, it's one of those things where uh, um, commercially speaking, I think it's something that's going to be here and here to stay. I can't help but being distracted by this chat thing. Like, we'll find love on the new dating site.
Well, I guess I need
What
to set
the
some
hell?
flags there, like that. Like not everybody can do that. It's okay. We're learning, but keep on. I'll moderate the chat while
Yeah.
you talk. Okay, like
Um,
you go
yeah.
ahead.
But I mean, I personally think that it will affect some sort of jobs. I mean, at some point, I was also thinking, um, I don't. I'm not that opposed in terms of like a director giving me some, hey, look, because at first I thought I was gonna hate it. Director's gonna give me something. Oh man, AI art, what the hell is this? And I would be very upset. But now I'm like, well, it kind of points me in the right direction. They know when they hire me, they're gonna say, instead of saying to me, make this a cool castle, they're saying, I kind of like this. And as long as they realize that I can take that and riff off of it and then make my own interpretations, then I'm good. But if I have to follow it exactly, then it kind of takes away a little bit of the ambiguity that a lot of directors and production designer might have. So that could be a positive spin. Obviously, AI is not going away. I mean, there's like Jan said, like definitely get educated on it. Go to the Concept Art Association, listen to the town halls because it's with the copyright office, and you can see what they're doing. Karla does a good job to explain exactly what AI does. So definitely get educated. There's multiple, very well-known artists who give their thoughts on it. Just do a search. There's tons of them. And there's people for, people against. I'm not really here to say you should be for or against it, but I'm trying to just share my experience of how I used to feel, which was totally like freaked out. And I was like, oh my God, this is like, this is AI art. Oh, my job, like I was just thinking, my job's gone, what's going on. And then as I kind of came to terms with the feelings, and then I actually got onto jobs where AI was a thing, it really made me go, oh, actually, it's okay because they're just being more now. They're taking a lot of the make it cool, something I've never seen before language out. They're giving you some kind of image and then giving you a little bit of thought behind it. Now I can totally take that and make it completely different and my own, but at least I have a direction. I mean, I don't know about you, but how many times have you had a director that says, something cool, something I've never
Of
seen
course, of
before, man?
course. But and then, I mean, it's actually a good point, right? And we need to talk about that, right? A lot of the panic, I think, initial panic came from artists saying that, oh my gosh, this is going to take all our jobs away. But uh,
Yeah.
I mean, that would imply that every art director, every production designer is an evil, money focused exploiter of labor that has no idea what proper art is and um, has no appreciation for the artists themselves, which of course does a huge disservice to these people, right? And I haven't come across come across anywhere where the art director says like, okay, I want it like this and throws me some AI generated stuff and then I have to follow that exactly. I mean, maybe there are other projects out there that are like that, but again, like don't discount again and I think art directors want to work with people. No, I mean it's like you don't want to just type into a machine. Then, like if that's your job day in day out, like that's pretty depressing. So
Yeah, and I think a lot of
yeah,
sorry,
go ahead.
go ahead. Yeah. No, I think a lot of people who are production designers, who are art directors, who are directors, they are artists themselves, and they understand the ramifications of sort of, hey, creation of art. And I think that they're excited themselves, and they're finding a new language, and they're kind of using that language to kind of go, this is kind of what I'm thinking, but also respecting the artists that they've hired to create, in their own way. And here's the kicker, I think. If I got onto a project and the director said, hey, do this, but exactly like this, I think I would just quit the project
Yeah.
because then, if it doesn't work, then I'd be like, okay, that's a relationship that doesn't work. I mean, maybe I'll try to work it out and say, hey, I'll do it my own way. But if he just wants AI art, then I'd say, well, maybe it's not the right project for me.
Yeah, but I think for a
Uh,
young person to say that is probably going to be impossible, right? Like they but I mean, is that much
yeah,
different?
yes and no.
Yeah, but is it that much
I,
difference
I
from people saying? Like, usually, the art director says like, usually the art director would still do that, but he would refer to another person's art, and I don't know which one is worse. Like the art director telling you
I just had
to
that too.
follow, like, okay, can you please, like, oh Jan, can you please follow Emmanuel's like work like more exactly? I like what Emmanuel did. Then I would say like just hire Emmanuel. Like what the hell? But then is it worse if they tell you to follow some AI generated art? Um, I don't know, right?
I think
From
they
my
both have their pro.
yeah, I don't know.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But I mean
I
from
think they both have their pros
yeah,
and cons.
yeah,
And honestly, I think even for junior artists, I think yes, I understand they're juniors. Yes, I understand that they may need to pay the bills, and there are extenuating circumstances. But I think that ultimately they have more power than they think as well, because I feel like that when you're a junior is really you really need to sort of find the right place to grow. And if you go to a place where you're just doing AI art, sort of regurgitation, or hey, following the AI arts for style, what are you really learning? Not a whole lot. So it really is not a good place for you. And I really feel like there are places, and most places aren't changing. They might say, well, follow this, or if you work with a director, hey, I like this. But if you go to any company right now, like say Riot, Blizzard, or some visual effects place, they're going to be like, they understand what an artist is, and still value sort of training an artist, and having somebody who's out of school who has a good eye. So I'm really not too concerned. If you
I
have good,
mean,
solid foundational skills, I'm not too
yeah.
concerned,
Yeah, somebody still
for
needs
the
to drive.
juniors.
Yeah, somebody still needs to drive. Like somebody still needs to recognize what a good image looks like, right? And that still takes
Yeah.
a trained eye. But I mean, there's I mean, not to say that I completely want to let AI off the hook, right? There's many problems with AI right now. I think again, there's a lot of legal problems, copyright problems. There's problems with well the morals and ethics of the people running these companies in terms of what data sets they use. Um, are they profiting of it? I mean, there's a very good comment right in the chat, like that was already there for a few minutes. Sorry about that, but about like is it okay to train an AI on a certain person's work, right? And then potentially profiting off that, right? Like it's like what I think like if Stable Diffusion is able to get a great market valuation on the back of using these data sets, and which is all full of copyrighted material, and then the bosses of these kind of companies are getting huge paychecks, that is a really strange dilemma. I mean, on the other hand, you can say like, the Spotify owners are billionaires, and they make money off the back of like musicians paying them like like fractions of cents for the replay of their songs. Like is that like a similar kind of moral dilemma? I don't know, right? But I mean, I think AI is just too new. I think for a lot of the art directors, for a lot of the productions, they're busy. They're not looking at Facebook all the time. I mean, we as freelance artists and other like artists, we look at that all the time. Because we sustain our living through sharing our work, right? So we're a bit more on the pulse. But I think a lot of the productions, a lot of the people who are down in the trenches working hard right now to bring you the latest Netflix series or whatever, they are not necessarily that aware or like in tune with a lot of these things. So overreacting like the second this kind of stuff comes out, I think again is the wrong kind of reaction. But I mean, the one positive thing, sorry for jumping around a lot, but one positive thing I think AI can do is that it can provide a avenue for smaller productions, for really small indie productions, to get some artwork together for their mood boards or for what the director has in mind. Because a lot of times, like productions that are like $2-3 million, they can't afford to hire $1,000 a day concept artist to get some quality stuff. It's just not possible. A lot of the self-finance projects, sometimes they just have a lack of resources, even though it's an interesting project and they could do some cool stuff, but just because they can't hire some really good artists, they might have to do it themselves or hire somebody's nephew who can draw, right? But I think there's an opportunity for these kind of productions to get some quality art. And the thing is, though, they wouldn't have been able to hire you anyway, so they're not taking any job away. It's just that the end product for something like this could turn out maybe better if they have access to this kind of AI art. So I think there's potential benefits coming from this. But then again, yeah, okay, now we're going down the copyright rabbit hole again, because if AI art is not copyrightable because no human was involved in the creation of it directly, what do these productions then do if there's no copyright on that, right? So it's again, it's early days, it's rapid development, and it's all, I don't know, too fast for my brain to process.
I mean, I think what you're saying is interesting. Indie studios, I think there is some use for it. I mean, I wrote down here, how many times have you gotten a mood board from a PD or somebody that says, hey, I've made a whole mood board, a pitch package, but it's full of your work, my work, other concept artists'
of course,
work.
every time.
Would you prefer that they said, hey, I'm able to create this mood board just through AI? Would you rather have a pitch deck full of just AI sort of general images of mood and feel, or continue to use your work in it without your consent?
Wow, that's a good question. Because that's happening right now all over the place.
That's happening. It's been happening for the last 20, 30, 40 years.
I'm not saying my work, but other people's work.
I've seen your work in pitch projects that I've been on. I've seen it.
So it's happening, right? It's happening all the time, and everybody just, I think a lot of people's reaction is that they feel honored. But I mean, what's happening is that these companies are getting deals signed by showing these mood boards to investors. So is that okay? Yes, no, I don't know. I don't see anybody complaining about that. Which one would I prefer? I mean, I don't know. Like, am I getting hired because my...
Well, no, I mean, none of those artists that they use, they hire.
Yeah, exactly. So,
they don't hire any of them.
They're
just using your art to get their projects, their funding, right? So I would much rather they just use the AI, well, at this point. But, AI ethics is a big question mark, like you said. I mean, I know that it's being trained on things that nobody has a chance to even opt in on, right? They can't opt in, they can't opt out. So that's no good. And definitely people are benefiting, the companies are benefiting from all our work. That is a fact. Only way to stay out of, AI completely is to not have your stuff on the internet. which is not really
Yeah.
possible.
I mean, even,
Once it's there,
yeah.
and they've already trained these things. And unfortunately, I'll leave it like Karla and those guys
Mm,
fight it. I don't have, I don't have the energy to go and, I just don't. And I would just say, try to do it responsibly,
yeah,
as responsibly as you can.
it comes down to that. The AI doesn't know right from wrong, right? The AI doesn't have a legal or moral codex that it follows. All comes down to what the people in charge do and how they use it, right? Or how the users use it, right? So, um, like some artists are realizing that they are models being trained on their work, right, without their consent, and of course that's not okay. There's other artists who train their own models on their own work, but which is that okay? I guess so, but the thing is, unless you have a completely full offline AI like machine that you feed only with work that is yours or that you know is from non-copyrightable sources, and you create stuff out of there, you have never any idea what goes into these models. If it's all online, you can say it's based on yours, but you have no idea what millions of other images are being thrown into that mix to create these images, right? So, but again, like here's a question about what's stopping film companies from purchasing an AI art company and training it on work of XYZ, right? Um, Nothing, right? Right now, nothing is stopping anyone. It's your ethics are hopefully stopping you on doing that. Um, but I mean, is it? Let's stay on the topic of Star Wars, right? Because it's a well-known IP, but like, so right now, what Disney is doing is that they employ an army of very good artists, the best on the planet, to further the IP based on the old movies, right? That has been happening the the episode 7, 8, 9. That has been happening with like Rogue One and Solo, and now with like Mandalorian and Endor and everything. So that's what's happening, right? Um, what is stopping Disney? Nothing. Hopefully their consciousness, right? Because right now, like they could do anything. So
Yeah, but I think at some point though, you kind of have to start focusing just with you. Like it's a very big topic. You can talk and you can be upset and angry and happy, sad, all these feelings you can have of something that you have absolutely zero control of.
exactly right.
And
That's
and I
true.
think why not take all that energy and just really focus on making your own art? And it's not just personal art either, because when you make your own stuff good, it permeates your commercial presence, right? It shows in your commercial work, because your skills are upped. And I think that place no AI can touch, because you are you. I mean, how can an AI know what you want to do? If you're going to draw tomorrow a blue unicorn, I don't know that you're going to do that. The AI doesn't know you're going to do that. You're the only one that knows you want to do that. So just go do you. And I always think that process, and there will be people who benefit, right? There will be people who quickly do something and they go, I'm an AI artist. Well, let them be what they want to be. I mean, they have nothing to do with you. Like if you do that blue unicorn and you do the best thing, the best blue unicorn ever, and someone sees that and hires you, they're hiring you off of your work. So I still say the energy should be focused there, and not in freaking out, because I mean, I totally was there. I freaked out,
Mm-mm.
and I'm a veteran. I'm like, oh my God, what does that mean? And then it took me a while to write myself, but I think now I'm even more sure of myself, because I had to go through all that. And I understand people are, they're scared and they're upset, but I think ultimately, if you're a good artist, you're gonna have a job. It's really that simple. And I'm more interested in seeing the artists do what they do, and then people will recognize that, because all the people who are hiring, and it's not a computer that hires you, it's a person
Mm.
that knows art usually, and they can appreciate art. So they're not going to look at your stuff and go, Oh, AI stuff? Great. Let's hire 10 of those guys. I don't really think that's going to happen because ultimately, the problem with AI art is that if you say, hey, can you make a change? The AI art goes, what? Change? Give me another angle. Change the lighting to over here. What? It doesn't know to do that. It cannot make changes. Like I've tried to sort of say, okay, well, instead of this, I want a lower angle of that. You put that prompt in there, it gives you something completely different, and then
Right.
a completely like not working angle. And then I spent like an hour. I'm like, it's easier just to draw it. So,
Right.
for me, I just think, for people who are just sort of afraid and, feeling anxious, I get it. And I just think just turn to, your what you wanted to create in the first place, to me, that's still the most powerful thing. And that's what I'm doing myself. But there will be the odd people who win a contest, with the AI generated art. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, yeah,
So I mean, there will be that. I mean, that will
yeah.
happen. I
It's
mean, there will
yeah,
be
that's
people
true.
looking at a small gallery who doesn't understand what they're seeing. They go, "Oh, that looks great," but that's just here and there. Unless I think it may affect fine artists more, or maybe not, because some of this stuff does look very fine arty, but I'm hoping for is AI to help, right? Like image editing and sky replacement and mundane things that it can really help along, using AI to give you a boost in productivity there. Maybe I think there will be a lot of room for that, is a photo retoucher maybe going to have a little bit more of a challenge with more AI tools? Probably, but that job will evolve, right? I mean, that's what's been happening throughout history. I mean, people who are using the software, you always have to adapt and change. But if you're an artist, maybe your vision is still your vision. So I think that's still the most powerful thing. That's how I see it. So
Yeah,
I'm feeling okay about it.
do you feel like you unconsciously kind of or consciously steer your art away from these kind of like AI looking things? Like you feel like you need to evolve your skill set like into areas that AI can't do well yet? I don't know.
That's a good question because I find myself saying, "Hey, um, like, do I like this?" And I don't really like that look, the beginning, like mid-journey look of like everything is just super detailed, like crazy. And I've never really liked that look. And I've sort of it really takes you to say, well, I mean, I'm not really about style. Like, I just the way I like to light something, the way I like to compose something. And I think I'm just going to continue doing that, because it's just photorealism, really, and it's like cinematography. That's more like what I like. And honestly, you watch any movie, there's tons of cinematography. So am I copying them, and have they copied other people, or have they been inspired by other? I mean, we're talking about hundreds of years of art. Somebody has been inspired by somebody else. That is the big argument right now, right? It's just like, well, you think, the AI is copying your style, but at the same time, you've also worked with inspiration. So now is that copying other people's style as well? And there's so much argument that I think in the end, everybody's inspired by everybody else. It has happened. I've looked at a lot of cinematographers and really, analyze and observe how they work. And I'm sure some of that goes into my work. So in the end, I'm made up a whole bunch of things, but what makes what I do unique is what I'm trying to say with it. Like if I, was abused as a child and I make a story about that, that's from my heart, right? So the visual language of how it comes out is just is a combination of a lot of things, but it's what you're saying with it that to me makes it unique, right? Roger Deakins is not the only one using that lens to create that effect or that light to create that light, the lighting scenario, but he's using it to create an emotion that he had. That to me is what's powerful. So I don't know. Maybe I'm getting a little too.
No, it's true. I mean, it's it's the right thing to, I think, focus on yourself and what you want to say with your art and everything. I'm just going back to the commercial art point, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, where do you see this all heading? I mean, it, it, AI can become a lot more powerful than it currently is, right? But I think I don't know. I have a hard time, and maybe it's just my ignorance. I have a hard time imagining that AI will be able to do everything, like give us fully textured and rigged models that are production ready for use in movies and games, or um, uh, that can help. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's so many people involved in the creation of the products that we make that um, it's going to be impossible for a machine to get in the way of that and disrupt that to the degree that people have been saying it's going to disrupt this industry. Um, if I don't know. I just feel like, and again, maybe it's my ignorance, right? Maybe I haven't thought about it enough, but
Well, I mean, I think you'll think about it when it creeps up and you feel like you need to. I mean, there's audience here that talks about Steven Sabata's video,
have you
which
seen
I
that?
think go watch it. I have watched it. I think there are valid points. I think every one that I've seen. I mean, there's one that actually I forgot his name, but he's actually talks about the AI art is taking away humanity, and he takes it to a very far degree. And I don't think I think everybody has a point, especially from their own perspective. I think it's always correct because it's your perspective. But I think anything that makes me feel so anxious, and I'm looking at it going, I'd rather focus my energy on this portion of it, not to ignore, right? But I understand what they're saying, and I might not see it exactly the same way. I see the valid points, and I see the question marks and the ethic and legal. Legally, I don't know what that is. Nobody knows. Ethically, I know what I would want to do. So, ethically, I think as long as you're doing it responsibly, uh, you know, I at first I was like typing in all these artists, like, oh, what, to understand, like what does it get you? But now, if I ever use it, I would probably use it with like it would just be a description of something you're using. It is still going to source other artists' work. So I'm not sure where I stand on using it. I mean, I don't use it right now, so I don't know when I would use it, if I would use it. All I know is that this is a discussion that probably won't end, because it's out there. So it takes a certain amount of energy to have anxiety about something, to feel something, to have, and I'm like, I only have so much energy. So I think I'm going to use that energy to make more art. And that's why I kind of jumped off social media. Um, I didn't want to just keep looking at images and seeing, people talking about it and being upset about it, and then, back and forth fights about it. And I'm just like, and in that time, I've created so much more art that it's just mind-boggling. So that's just how I'm choosing. There's no wrong.
Yeah,
You
but
know.
it's a very healthy way, I think, to approach. Like you said in the beginning, like it's something I mean, it's something you don't have control over the development and emergence of these. You do have a bit of, um, but the only thing you can control is how you react to it, right? You can either let it dominate your life. Um, you can again engage in discourse online, to endlessly debate the merits or demerits of this technology and what it means, or you can say like, okay, this exists. I'll continue to do my thing. Of course, it's also good to say like what Karla does. Like she really engages. Like she wants to do something about it, right? So that's a
We
very
need her.
productive.
We need people like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one thing to just like oh it's all shit and it's gonna be like terrible and the future is all gonna be Terminator like shooting us or whatever, right? But it's another thing to say like okay, I really need to do something about that, right? And that's good. That's really good.
Yeah, and she's totally fighting for the artist, and I can't say more, about her because I think she's really she has the energy and the smarts to actually take it to a certain level to see what legislature she can actually do. I mean, she was always been very informative and she does her homework, and having somebody like that on, thinking about for the artist. I mean, she's as much of an artist as I've ever known. So I think that we need people like that. We need, Stephen Zapata talking about his philosophical, sort of theories. We also need the other guy who said, "Oh, it's about humanity." We need all these people, and then it's up to you, to the viewer, to say, "Hey, how can I take all this and make it something for me?" Some people might want to fight, some people don't want to, and anybody is right. Everybody's right. But I just don't want people feeling like, oh my God, I was just like, oh my God, I've got so much anxiety that I feel like, the world's caving in and I don't like that. So I had to go through a lot of that stuff. And this is just us chatting about how things are. But I mean, it's actually changing me in like just quit social media.
Yeah.
I mean, quit. I mean, I didn't quit. I mean, I basically stayed off. Basically,
Yeah.
I'm 90%
Well, that's
away.
good.
But
That's good. I think it's very
there are
healthy.
moments.
But to kind of draw it to a close, because I think we can just kind of endlessly debate here. But Dave here in the chat made a good point that it's not only about art. It's also about other industries that will be touched by this in one way or another. And I mean, honestly, on a day-to-day basis, I'm more concerned about the whole kind of like deepfake technology and being able to generate images that are indistinguishable from reality, and then at some point it's being used for misinformation campaigns. And the thing
Yeah,
is,
that is not good. Yeah.
as long as somebody can benefit from it, it will be done. Morals always take a backseat in most cases, and that's a very sad state of affairs, I think, and I think that's more scary to me than I feel like. I mean, maybe there's some money to be gained about by companies kind of building these algorithms and making concept art for companies and replacing artists and making it cheaper. There is something to be gained, but I think it dwarfs, like other industries will dwarf like the monetary gains to be made by this. So I think we should keep our eyes and ears open. But I think the thing to worry about will not be about I think concept art illustration. To be honest, there's going to be bigger issues coming up that will touch everybody,
Yeah, I
not
mean, I
only
think
artists.
yeah, we're just at the beginning here, and I think I see I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't know. I'm not even gonna try, but he basically says, yeah, you got to take a stand, and I think once I know exactly what it is, I will take a stand. But I think right now I'm just more on the side of ethics, and until I know and see a clearer picture, I'm just gonna focus on me first and making the art that I want to create. As long as I do it ethically and responsibly, then maybe I can just lead by example until I know better. Because right now I don't know what it is. I don't think anybody really knows where it's going or how it's going to be used. It could be doom and gloom, or maybe the glacier coming out, because of what everybody's saying. So I think they're trying to figure out what it is. It's just like crypto, right? I mean, people are trying to figure out, okay, how do we tax? Like they're still figuring that out. So it takes time, and I think be aware, but be ethical, be responsible. Uh, I see a lot of people calling people out, like, hey, this person's using this and doing that and that person. But in the end, there are going to be some bad eggs, and at some point, you can spend a lot of time on that Twitter and police and yell and scream. I'm just the kind of person that says, you know what, I've done a lot of yelling, screaming in my days. It's gotten me to a place of just being angry about everything. I don't want that anymore. So I just want to chill, and that's me at this moment. And, you're different. Other people are different, So, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. I mean, it's gotten really deep.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. I think we want to kind of cap it here. I think as kind of our first live stream, I think it went quite well. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for having all these great questions. Sorry if I didn't get to everything that you guys wrote. We're trying our best here. We don't have a dedicated guy monitoring our chat here. So we're just kind of
I wonder,
making it up as we go.
Let us know too in the comments or whatever that how you guys like this. Do you like having this live like this? And whether it's something you want to see more of. I think I'd be curious.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. We're going to continue. Let's see how it works.
Let's see how it goes.
We're going to be back next week and not like in 6 months. So we'll see you guys soon. We'll let you know on our social media channels when the next stream is going to hit. So you guys can
and if one thing is, if you guys have any suggestions for episodes, hey, this is a burning question, I think we should probably get a place where people can write down, things, and we may or may not, do it, but I mean, it maybe it's just something that would be good to know, what's a interesting topic. Yeah.
Okay, thanks to everybody. I know it's late in some parts of the world. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week, hopefully, in the next episode. Yeah. Again, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you like this, and we'll see you guys soon. Okay.
Bye. Have a good one. Bye.